Greetings. When looking to the prophecy of the book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 8 about spiritual Egypt and the location of spiritual Egypt, which is where the Lord was crucified at Jerusalem, it's important to look at the history of the Vatican and its desire to have Jerusalem to put itself into the role of the Pope being representative of Jesus, which is the fake Jesus. The Vatican has long used a ceremonial throne which carries the Pope until 1978, which was later replaced by the Pope Mobile. This chair for carrying is called the sedia gestatoria. The sedia was used as a part of the papal ceremony for almost 1,000 years. Its origins are sometimes thought to be dated back to the Byzantine Empire, and many others argue that the leadership of the ancient Roman Empire had used this manner. But we present to you that this has actually come further in history back as far as Egypt. Pope John Paul I initially declined to use the ceremonial throne carried on the shoulders along with several of the symbols of the papal authority, but it was later convinced to him that it was necessary to make it visible for the crowds at St. Peter's Square. He was the last pope to use the portable throne, and Pope John Paul II discontinued the use of this throne in favor of the Pope Mobile. You notice here that the fans and the carriers and the carrying of the throne onto the two sticks, the throne, and even the procession of this is identical to how ancient Egypt had carried the Pharaoh. The third temple in Jerusalem will not have room for the Pope Mobile to be driving through the crowds, and they will use the procession of the same thing that was done in Egypt, which is carrying the Pharaoh on the two sticks on the throne with the waving of the fans. And this is exactly what will be happening in Jerusalem in the future. The Pope will sit as Pharaoh in spiritual Egypt, also known as Jerusalem, and this is the role of the false prophet, commonly known as fake Jesus. In the book of Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 6 through 10, it talks about this coming third temple. It says, "He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here? That I should go far from my sanctuary? But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the court. And when I looked, and behold, a hole in the wall. And he said unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abominations they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things, and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about." What is seen here in verse 10 is the creeping things, which are the Egyptian scarab, and this is written onto the wall, and you see these abominable beasts, which is Set, Anubis, Ra, and these are the half man, half animal mix, which are the idols of the house of Israel from the past. And you see Ptah on the wall, which is the great architect of the universe, known as the all-seeing eye. And Ptah was represented in the Apis bowl, better known as the golden calf that Aaron had crafted, which was also represented by the obelisk, which you see in front of the Vatican as well. But it's important to note that inside the Masonic temple, you end up seeing all these Egyptian artifacts on the walls, and these gods of the gods of Egypt and the idols of the house of Israel and the creeping things and the abominable beasts upon the walls inside the Masonic lodge. Because inside this third temple, it's going to be framed and based upon masonry that the Vatican is ruling over. In this third temple, when the Pope gets his position as the leader over all the religions to be the moral and mouthpiece of God, the moral authority over the earth, sitting in the role of Jesus, the fake Jesus at this third temple, exalting the Muslim emperor, which is the Antichrist, you will see that Revelation chapter 11 verse 8 becomes more clear when it talks about Jerusalem being spiritually Egypt. This is Martis Ministry. Shalom.